Well, hi everyone, and I want to say thanks so much for taking the time to fill out the midterm surveys for ADMG 374 online. This is fall 2015, and I wanted to take a few minutes to go over and discuss with you some of the things that came up in the surveys and then what I'm going to do, what kind of adjustments I'm going to make accordingly. So what you liked, I heard a lot of positive comments about the project. I heard positive comments in terms of the opportunity to work in groups, in virtual groups, because that's really an important job skill, and it's one of probably maybe one of the hardest things you're going to do in your college experience, but it really will come back and will be extremely helpful for you in the job field. So a lot of people were commenting positively about the project experience. Liked the collaboration and liked the freedom, meaning that the instructor was letting you do your own thing, that I wasn't watching over you like a hawk, and kind of wasn't really too terribly involved, wasn't micromanaging you, so to speak. A lot of people liked the level of information that was available in the material, as well as the pace of the material in terms of things aligning with what you needed to do in the class projects. And then I did get a lot of really positive comments about the live sessions, so I was really happy about that. That's great. Stay tuned when I talk about what I'm planning to do moving forward. So, what could be better? There was a long list of things that could be better, so let me go over them. Workload was probably one of the most frequently mentioned things, just the amount of work in this class. And and honestly, I will be going over the class, taking a good look at what needs, what is there. I will probably be reducing a few assignments from here on to the end. But again, I said this up front, and I need to really make sure to reiterate this is a 5-unit class, so most likely this is more work than you have ever had in any of your 3 or 4 credit hour classes. So by the nature of the 5 credit hours, there needs to be a certain amount of work. So I can only do so much to simplify, but I am going to look at some things and see what I can do to make it a little bit less challenging or frustrating for you all as you finish up these last 5 weeks that we have together. Require mandatory team meetings and mandatory use of collaborative tools such as either Google Docs or let's face it, you can put a file out on Google Docs and everyone can edit that file at the same time. And that's really a benefit when you're talking about this kind of thing. And again, you'll find these tools are heavily used in the workplace. So making it mandatory I thought was really interesting. Microsoft Project, I got a lot of comments about Microsoft Project being hard to learn, needing more hands-on instruction, and needing more demonstrations. Again, too much work for an online class. Back to the workload issue. Too many instructions, and the instructions were difficult to understand. Okay, thank you for that. For all of you folks that made that comment, thank you very much. And there were a lot of you that did. I will be going back over all of the instructions, starting with Module 6, moving forward, and working on those. Now, this is not meant as an excuse. Please do not think of this as an excuse, but I did inherit this course shell, and I took a good look at it and I modified a few things, but even I was a little bit hesitant. So but my responsibility is to make it right before it gets out to you, so that you understand I will be working on that throughout the remainder of the course. I will be simplifying things and clarifying things as much as possible. Again, no excuses, it's all on me. So I ask that you be patient with me, and that by the end of the class, see if I haven't made those improvements for you to make things a little bit easier in terms of understanding the instructions. Okay, so and I'm going to count on you to hold me to that and to let me know in your student evaluations, did I fix that for you? A slower pace. Some folks said that there was just too much, just too much information coming at you at one time. And I thought this was a fascinating comment, because this somebody made a comment that was, the instructor really should be watching more closely and facilitating the teams more closely. And yet another comment up here was that she just leaves us alone and lets us do our own thing. She's not micromanaging us. So that really speaks to the difficulties and challenges that some teams in a virtual setting have. Some teams just click and it works and it's all good, and it comes together and it just happens. And then other teams do have some issues and challenges. And moving forward, let me talk about some of the additional comments that I had. Maybe putting out some Microsoft Project extra credit opportunities before the class really gets started, to do things such as learning how to put together that Gantt chart, so that when you get to week 4, you're a little more prepared. And I've got some things in mind for that. So not that it's going to help you, but thank you for that comment. Someone else said just dump Microsoft Project in favor of Excel or Word. And originally I thought about it and I said, well, Microsoft Project is the premier tool for project managers in using in running a project, and I felt that it was important, as do all of our project management instructors. We all feel it's very important that you get your hands on the tool. But you know what? This class really isn't about learning Microsoft Project. We have 3 other classes that hit on Microsoft Project a little heavier. And so it's an interesting comment, and it's one that I'm kind of rolling around in my head to try to figure out what can I do here. So I thank you for that, because that made me think, and I really appreciate comments that get me to think and to get me to see how can I make this better. So I don't know what I can do for the remainder of this class, but you got me thinking for future classes, and again I thank you for that. Can this class prepare someone for the PMP exam? Great question. Not really. Yes, a little bit, but so what you're going to do in this class is you are getting exposed to project management principles from the Project Management Institute that come from the project management body of knowledge, the PMBOK. And but will it prepare you for the test? You really have to study a lot harder than what you're going to get in this class, but it's a good primer for what is to come. Now we have 3 other classes. We have IT 376, and then we have 2 new classes, IT 474 and IT 475. Those classes will definitely hit the concepts from the PMBOK harder, and in 474 and 475 you actually will be required to purchase the PMBOK, and we will be using the PMBOK in that class. So those 2 classes are definitely more geared to preparing you for the PMP exam. Will you be able to take the PMP exam after those 2 classes? You will be a lot better prepared, but I'm warning you, you're going to need to study. But we're going to talk about that in those other 2 classes. So I hope I helped answer that one. Let students choose their own teams, and oh my goodness, I was so happy to see that, because after week 1, when I went through the exercise of putting your teams together, I thought of a new way for my next classes to do that. So indeed, moving forward, students will be able to choose their own team, and hopefully that'll be a little bit easier. But thank you for that comment too, because I had the same thought. You have no idea how many hours it took me to put your teams together. It was really, really difficult. Better explanation on point deductions. So that is totally on me. For the most part, there should be some rubrics for assignments, and I need to make sure that I do a better job explaining why something isn't excellent and why it's only good, right? Why it's good and as opposed to great, so to speak. So I will work on that to give better assignment point deductions for you. So moving forward, again, I mentioned I'm going to be revising all instructions for clarity and simplicity. Look for that starting Module 6 and moving forward. Give me a couple more days in the Module 6 to get that cleaned up for you. And I will be checking in with your teams each week. I'll check in with each team each week, and I'm going to want a little conversation, so I'll be doing that. Look for a post in your Canvas discussions, okay, or Canvas announcements, and what I'll do is I'll post an announcement and ask you all, everyone in the teams, to respond. And then continue with the live sessions. Oh, heck yes. I'm so glad you enjoy those because I enjoy them too. And again, I want to thank you for your time. I know how busy everyone is. I know you guys didn't need to go through this exercise and certainly sit here and listen to this little 10-minute presentation, but I just want you to know how much I appreciate your feedback. I strive for excellent. I don't strive for average or good, and your feedback helps me know where I can improve as an instructor. It helps me know where I can improve the course material, and it helps me know what I can do better for upcoming classes. So your time really helps me tremendously, and I genuinely appreciate that. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next live session. Thanks again.